16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo, Genesis does.
16-bit sports action.
You can't do this on Nintendo, Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
Get Joe Montana free, Pat Riley free, Buster Douglas free, Super Monaco GP free, or Collins free.
Genesis does.
What Nintendo don't?
Hey guys, I'm Kamikaze Ikun. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys my Sega Genesis collection. But before I get into that, I'd like you guys to know that I am still having a subscriber giveaway. It's going to be for a Nintendo Switch Lite and Animal Crossing. That giveaway will end September 1st, so do sign yourself up for that. The links to that will be in the description down below. Now, let's get into the Sega Genesis games. So before I show you guys the games, I'd like to show you a couple of consoles that I have. This first one here is the Sega Genesis Model 1. Now, I did not personally grow up with this console, but I did have it for a very short time. We grew up with the Model 2, but our parents bought this model like right after we got our Model 2, and for some reason, like, I don't know, some wires got crossed. They were trying to get us the best possible deal, so they ended up having to return this one, ended up getting us a Model 2, but this one in particular came with a copy of Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Now the second console I have is the Sega Genesis Model 2 along with the Sega CD. Now this is the console that I did in fact grow up with, but we did not unfortunately have the Sega CD attachment. But so many great memories with this console. We got this maybe a couple years after the Super Nintendo, and we absolutely had a blast. My favorite game on this system, of course, being Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I poured hundreds of hours into that game, and like I still to this day consider it one of the greatest Genesis games ever made. Now I want to show you the third console that I have. And that console would be the Sega Genesis Model 3. This came out around the time of the Sega Saturn, but I was lucky enough to find this in box at a garage sale a couple years ago for $5. That was absolutely amazing. Like, I was not going to pass up on this console. And yeah, it does look kind of cheap, to be honest. It was made by Majesco, which did a lot of, you know, like, I want to say they did like a lot of re-releases for both the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, but seeing this in box, I couldn't turn this down. Now, I did kind of lie to you guys. There is one more console that I have. And that console, of course, is a plug-and-play made by AtGames. It's this. Just take a good look at this. Like, this feels like one of those, like, oh, what are those called? Those little, like, charms you could put into an oven and you can make bracelets out of them. That's what that sticker looks like. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. And it came with this, and there were supposed to be two of these, but I got this for $1, and I bought this just for the sheer curiosity of this thing. Does it play that great? No, absolutely not, but my god, like, I mean, I get the appeal. There's, you know, the Sonic head there, but, you know, other than that, it's just not that great of a console. Alright, now let's get into the games. First of all, I'm going to show you all of my loose cartridges that I have. Not really going to go into too much detail because there is a ton of stuff I have here to show you guys. Let's see here. This first game is Aero the Acrobat. Then we have Toe Jam and Earl. What is that? Panic on Planet Funkatron. Really weird game. Really think you guys should give that one a shot. Then we have Road Rash 2. Now this is a series I just started getting into, and I absolutely love these games. You have the chance, you see this game out in the wild, do pick this up. It's actually pretty good. Next we have a game based on a movie, which I love the movie, but the game, they could have done better. That game is Cliffhanger. So I just watched the movie, as a matter of fact. I love the movie, but the game, it's terrible. Like, I can't really say much more about it. It's not that great of a game, and I'll be honest, like, I only got to about, I want to say within like 5 minutes and got bored and just wanted to shut the thing off and play something else. It just, I don't know, maybe I can give it another shot, but for now, I just didn't really care for it. Next we have Championship Pro-Am. If you're familiar with the NES version of this game, this one's just improved graphics, better, well, not necessarily better gameplay, but if you're familiar with the NES version, you're going to enjoy this one as well. Next we have a game that I actually had growing up, and that is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This game, it's a two-player fighting game where you can fight as either the Rangers or the monsters. You could grow into kaijus and use the Zords. It does feel a little cheap. It only uses, I believe, two buttons on the control pad. And for most controllers that had 3 buttons, I mean, they were really, really stretching it. Is it a good game? Yeah, it's fun, but would I recommend it? Probably not. This one was a bit of a surprise. Predator 2. Now, I don't necessarily see that many great Alien/Predator games out there, but I can assure you guys, this is a good one. Like, if you're familiar with games like True Lies, this plays a lot like it, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Next we have Samurai Showdown. Beavis and Butthead. Now, I could go on and on about this game, but I won't, because I think, like, a lot of people shit on this game, but I think it's amazing. It is difficult, but over time, you will get used to the controls. The game is not that difficult, just try not to die. That's really the only advice I can truly give you. Try to just be on caution, be on alert. Always watch out for enemies, because they just spawn out of nowhere sometimes, but this is actually really good. And I know, like, AVGN kind of crapped on both of these games, but I've beaten both of them and I enjoyed them. Next, we have Toy Story. Now, if you enjoy games like Donkey Kong and Vector Man, you know, those kind of pseudo 3D games that they were making at the time, this one really is no different. It's not nearly as fun, but it is a decent game. Next we have the original Mortal Kombat. Now, what would be my pick between this and the Super Nintendo version? Obviously this one, because while it was not as good graphically, for some reason Nintendo decided that it would be a smart move to take the blood out and made sweat instead of blood, which was just, I think it's more disgusting, to be honest. But, you know, if you know the blood code, this is the game to go for. We played this so much as kids. We actually owned this game too. And I mean, we knew the blood code from, you know, back, front, forward, and whatever, you know, like, we knew that blood code. Like, we could repeat it in our sleep. So yes, this is an amazing game. If you do not yet have this for your Genesis collection, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Next, I have Mortal Kombat 3. A lot of the same, a few new fatalities, babalities, you know, the whole spiel of Mortal Kombat. This is still a great game. You know, around this time though, the Super Nintendo version did look a little bit nicer. They were more laxed on the blood and the violence. So, I mean, either one is great. You know, I mean, there's really unless you're looking for like the top tier graphical, you know, superiority, you know, obviously you're gonna go for the Super Nintendo version, but this one's still pretty damn good. Next, we have Vector Man 1 and Vector Man 2. Now, I could say a lot about both of these games, and it would pretty much be the exact same thing. It's visually amazing what they could do on the Sega Genesis around this time. Like, this looked really good, and even to this day, it still really holds up. I enjoy both Vector Man games and give them both equal praise. So if you've not yet tried Vector Man, yeah, do try it. You know, these games are dirt cheap too. Like, they sold a lot of copies of Vector Man. It should be stupidly easy to find these games. Next, we have Sonic and Knuckles. Now, I love this game, even though it has like a stupid difficulty curve. And one of the things that I love most about this was the expansion cart. If you're not familiar with this, if you were to pop in Sonic 1, 2, and 3, you could play as Knuckles in any of those games, regardless of what game it was. Not quite sure if it works on things like the Retron 5, but I should really go test that out and see if that does. But yeah, it's an incredible game. I do suggest playing it. It is a lot of fun. Something that came before that was Sonic the Hedgehog 3. This game too, it's a lot of the same stuff that you would expect from Sonic. There are new power-ups you can use. Tails is a bit more useful. He can actually pick you up and carry you through parts of levels that you wouldn't normally be able to reach. It is a lot harder than a lot of the other Sonic games like 1 and 2. Yes, this is much more difficult. Not nearly as hard as Sonic and Knuckles, but it's in that category. Next, we have a game. If you are familiar with games like Puyo Puyo, for some reason they thought it would be a great idea to nerf Puyo Puyo and instead relabel it as Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. It doesn't make this game terrible by any means. I think the animations are really awesome, but I really do wish they decided to release Puyo Puyo as well on the Sega Genesis, just to mess with people, just to be like, wait, isn't this Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine? Because that's the first time I played Puyo Puyo, I'm like, this looks really familiar. And yes, it is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Now we have this game, Sonic Wacky Worlds. Now this was something I had also had as a kid, and if you're looking for an alternative to Mario Paint, this would definitely be it. This has a lot of the same things that Mario Paint would have. It's a lot more focused on animation though, and the use of their own sprites. So if you're more into like sprite work and stuff like that, I would actually recommend this game over Mario Paint. Both of them do have their own like individual features, and I feel like this one gets really overlooked by comparison. Now we get to the really good loose games. This first one is Battletoads and Double Dragon. Do play this game if you ever get the chance to. There are many different ports of this game. I really enjoyed this game, and if you're not familiar with it, it's Battletoads and Double Dragon in the same exact game. If you're not familiar with either of these franchises, please, God, go look these up. This is an incredible game. So much fun in two-player mode, even though it does suffer from the occasional friendly fire. But yeah, this is an amazing game. Do check this one out. Next, I have Phantasy Star 3. Now, while not my absolute favorite Phantasy Star game, this one, it takes place in a more medieval setting. Really do enjoy this one though. If you ever do get the chance, give this one a shot. It is panned quite a bit as probably one of the worst Phantasy Stars, but honestly, I don't really consider any of them bad. Like, even so much as like the Universe series, I love that stuff to death. Or even Phantasy Star on the DS, I actually really enjoyed it. It really depends on the player, to be honest. And if you have not tried this out yet, just give it a shot. Look into it. Watch a video of this. Like, it really doesn't deserve all the criticism that it gets. I mean, sometimes the combat can feel a bit sluggish at first, but once you get used to it, I mean, it really is not that terrible. Now on to one of my favorite Phantasy Star games. That would be Phantasy Star 2. Now, I absolutely adore this game. I've played through this at least a couple times. Most of it has been on I believe it was the PlayStation 3 when they released the Genesis collection. Now, that was really awesome of them to do, and as far as prices go for a lot of these Genesis games, that is a really good alternative. I forgot to mention that too, is a lot of times, you'll find like just collections of Sega Genesis games, and they have them for like the Xbox, the PS3, the Switch, the Xbox One, and the PS4. These are all readily available, and some of the older copies are like super dirt cheap at this point. So I do urge you to try Phantasy Star 2 out. This one is not necessarily my top favorite Phantasy Star game, but it's very close. It is incredible, especially the story. The story just is a definite tearjerker. So give this one a shot as well. Next, I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters. If you enjoy Ninja Turtles, if you enjoy fighting games, this one is definitely a great game. This one also has been panned quite a bit, and again, I don't quite understand why. It's not nearly as good as the Super Nintendo port, but it is better than the NES port if you're lucky enough to find a copy. Do give this one a shot. This one is pretty damn good too. I believe, what was it, when they made these games, they had used inspiration from I believe it was the TV series, the movies, and the Archie comics. So there's a lot of characters in these games from many different universes of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and is definitely worth your time. Now, the last of my loose games, this one happens to be my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. Now, it used to be Turtles in Time. Like, I gave that game so much praise, and it was just such an amazing game. And it wasn't until I played this again, and, I just started to rediscover just how amazing this was. And that game is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Hyperstone Heist. Like I said, this is my favorite Ninja Turtles game overall. Does it look as nice as the Super Nintendo port? Absolutely not. But what I enjoy about this is I enjoy the challenge, I enjoy the gameplay, and overall it just feels like when they made this game, they really wanted to challenge the player, especially level 4, the Gauntlet. Dear God, you are going to lose some lives unless you study the movements and the patterns of these enemies. It's just brutal, absolutely brutal. Even when you face against Shredder is nothing compared to the Gauntlet. So now I'm going to show you guys all the box games that I have for the Sega Genesis. This first ratty beat-up game comes in one of those Majesco boxes, and these things are terrible. I hate these boxes so much, and I'm so happy I only have one of these, but that game is Caesar's Palace. It's a casino game, not really much left to say about it. Do I care about it? Not necessarily, but I found this game for a couple dollars, and I was like, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. I haven't yet, though. I haven't been that bored, so maybe someday in the future I will give this a go. Next, I have Echo the Dolphin and Echo the Dolphin 2. Now, what do I think of these games? I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Echo the Dolphin, and yeah, get out the pitchforks, please, because I am just not a fan of these games. They look beautiful, they play really nice, but I just can't get very far without getting bored of these. And I don't know what it is. Maybe they're just a product of their time. To those who had played it originally, maybe they got a little bit further, maybe they got more enjoyment out of it, but I just can't seem to get into it. No matter how many times I've tried to play this. And I have tried multiple times to play both of these games, and I just don't care about them. They're just not, for me anyway. Now this next game I did put a lot of time into, and I love this game, and that is Miss Pac-Man. Now, To my knowledge, now I'm not 100% sure, but this is the only Ms. Pac-Man game that I'm aware of that is simultaneously two-player. And I think that's awesome. Like, that is an amazing feature. And again, I don't think it's on any other system at this point. But again, I could be wrong. I haven't seen it for myself though. But if you are a fan of Ms. Pac-Man, I definitely urge you to pick up the Genesis version. Next, I have Road Rash. You know, something to complement Road Rash 2. Next, I have this game. It kind of reminds me of, oh goodness, I forget what it's called, Space Harrier. A little bit anyway. That game is Burning Force. Basically, it's one of those bizarre looking, like, well, I don't even know how to explain it. I might just like have a little video clip up there to really show this off, but you're basically riding around on this like futuristic motorbike while like the terrain is coming toward you, kind of like almost like, you know, if you guys have ever played like Super Star Wars, when you would have to do like some of the vehicle segments. It's a really bizarre game, but what I've played of it, I really enjoyed it. Next, I have Beauty and the Beast. Now, I was not too big a fan of this game in particular, mostly because it is a very dark game, and by dark I mean you have to crank the brightness right up in order to see anything. And overall, like, the hit detection is not the best, and while I love these Disney games, this one just did not do it for me. And speaking of a Disney game that really didn't hit any marks for me either, I also have The Little Mermaid. Now, I love the NES version of The Little Mermaid. It is one of my top 10 favorite NES games of all time. But this one, I could care less for it. You know, I mean, yes, I am a grown man trying to complete a Little Mermaid collection. And I absolutely love this movie. This is one of my favorite Disney films of all time. But I can say that this just is not fun. Like, you'll probably play it for a good 5 to 10 minutes and get absolutely bored of this game. And I'm being honest about these two. Like, I'm not just like, oh, let's just crap on all these games. No, there are some genuinely good Genesis games. But some of them, as much as I hate to say it, this is not the best game. Next, we have Super Thunderblade. Now, I like this game a lot. I picked this up super cheap for like $5, and I absolutely love this game. I can't get very far in it though, but it's still, for what it is, I really like it. Again, this is somewhat like Space Harrier, where, you know, you've got the scenery coming at you and you're a helicopter and you're trying to avoid all these obstacles and these other, you know, machines coming at you. And I thought it was a lot of fun. I got a lot of enjoyment out of it, but I suck at this game. I will admit, I am absolutely terrible. Now here we have Jurassic Park. Now, I love the movie, and I actually like this game. It is infinitely better than the Super Nintendo version or the NES version. Why is that? Because it doesn't put you on this confusing grid, you know, where you're trying to guess where you have to go. It's a pretty much a platformer with you as Alan Grant against the dinosaurs, or you could choose to be the raptor and just kill everything in sight. It does have a bevy of options. I do love this game too. This is probably my favorite Jurassic Park game from this era, including like the really weird interactive Sega CD one. This one, I totally recommend this. I mean, my god, like some of the sprite work on there, like you see the T-Rex there, I mean, god, that looks terrifying. It's such a great game. Do totally recommend this one. Next, this is one of the few shooters that I have on the system, and that is Biohazard Battle. This one, you fly in a ship and go against all these just really weird insects and mutants, and it's really fun. It is 2-player as well, but in 2-player mode, it's a little more confusing because, you know, you've got crap all over the place, and then you've got your friend, like, just right in the way all the time. Really awesome game. Now, these games typically get a bad rap, and I mean, I can understand why. I have a few of these that I can't stand playing them. But this particular game was really good, and that is Krusty's Super Funhouse. Now, I believe there was a Super Nintendo port of this as well, but overall, there really are not that many good Simpson games from this era. You know, including the NES, of course. Like, even those were just like, you know, I just did not care for any of them. But this one is a puzzle game and a platformer. Really super fun. You get to use Krusty. You get to go around, like, trying to set up these paths for, you have a, like, some sort of a mouse problem going on in your funhouse, and you have to, you know, lead these mice to a mouse trap where, you know, like, one of the members of the Simpson family will absolutely obliterate them. Really awesome title. Next we have Just Spider-Man. Not the Amazing, just Spider-Man. This one is a very, very generic game. Would I recommend this? Maybe if you get it super cheap. But I mean, it's hard to really recommend this one. But a better Spider-Man game would be this, Maximum Carnage. It is, like I said, much brighter, much more fun. The music was made by Green Jelly. I mean, my God, Green Jelly. Like, who could say no to Green Jelly? Those guys are amazing. They were my gateway into metal. So, you know, I have to love this game. And like I said, the action in this game, the gameplay itself, the cutscenes, the sprite work, everything is just so much better in this game. And you can play as Venom later on. So there's nothing better than this. Do play this game if you have not gotten a copy of this yet. Really awesome game. Much better than Spider-Man. And sticking to the theme of Marvel games, here's another great one, and that is X-Men. Oh no, it doesn't say Uncanny, it just says X-Men. Okay, cool. So, going with just simple names here today. What I love about this game is the fact that you could play as, like, some of the most popular X-Men for that time. You know, you can play as Wolverine, Gambit, Nightcrawler, and Cyclops. They all have their powers. The sprite work is just big and beautiful, and everything has really good hit detection. Some of the enemies can be a little cheap, but if you have a friend, I totally recommend this game, especially if you're fans of the X-Men. Really awesome title. Next, we have Ultra Beast, and I have a very unpopular opinion about this. I don't necessarily care for Ultra Beast, and it's so slow, it's so methodical, and honestly, I get bored of this after a while. Like, and this is a staple of the Sega Genesis. I understand, you know, and get the pitchforks again, but I really don't care for Ultra Beast. Now here's the other shooter in my collection, and that is Thunder Force 2. Now, I really enjoy this game, but I cannot get very far in this at all. I can't figure out how to get past the first screen. You're supposed to be able to navigate through this little maze above the sky and knock out a certain amount of enemies, and then another path opens up, but like I said, I can't figure this out. I want to learn this game. I really do. I should put more time into it, but like every time I play this, it's the same exact story. I get stuck in one of those little bricks. I can't figure out what to do, and I end up crashing into something and dying. Now, for me, I have a thing about trying to stick to the kind of games that I really enjoy, and one of my major rules for collecting was that general rules, I don't collect sports games, music games like Guitar Hero or DDR, you know, hunting games like Cabela, You know, I try to stick to like certain genres, but this game is a sports game, and well, like I said, I don't really collect sports games. I like the arcade action of this title, NBA Jam. If you're familiar with this game, you'll understand why this is actually a pretty decent game. Although sometimes I will buy a sports game if it involves like a cartoon character or a video game franchise. Yeah, I'll pick it up and I'll play it. And this one kind of feels like that as well. It's just, you know, I don't really care for sports all that much. I mean, look at me. I am in no physical condition to play any sort of sport. But, you know, this game is actually a lot of fun. Next, we have Chuckin' the Forever Man. This is not by any means the best Sega Genesis title, but for what it is, it's a good waste of about half an hour or so. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not fantastic. It's not gonna blow you away and be on your top 10 list, but for what it is, it's a side-scroller. It's kind of dark, kind of mysterious looking. It just, I don't know. Something about this, like, it would seem to be the kind of game that I would enjoy, but, like, it's so slow, and even when you're fighting enemies, it just feels like it just drags on and on and on, and I can't really get into it. Next, we have the reason why ratings were created. This right here, if you look at the box, do you see any ratings whatsoever? Like maybe in the back where it says, not recommended for children 12 and under. This is Technocop. This is actually a lot of fun. But yeah, I would not recommend this for kids. It's a game where you go around as a future cop, busting up drug houses and crime lords, killing people. It's super bloody, super violent. Definitely something I would enjoy playing. Even as a kid, I would have been like freaking out about this game. But I can totally understand why, you know, not so much, and you know why they probably should have had something, you know, telling parents, hey, this should not be played by your children. Now, I spoke about this before with the Predator game. Like I said, there really were not that many great Alien games, but this one actually took me by surprise, and that is Alien 3. Now, I hated the Super Nintendo port, and the Nintendo port is another one that just did not do it, but this one, if you get the chance, do check this one out. These ones are super cheap as well, and it's basically you're exploring, you know, this area where you have to find people that were captured by the alien. You have to go around defending yourself. You have a very short time limit, but it is doable, it is playable, and I really enjoy this, especially the gameplay, like the combat with Ridley. Love it. Really awesome game. Now we're on the last pile of complete in box games. This one in particular, though, I remember I had got this one Christmas Day along with my Sega Genesis, and, well, I'll just show it to you guys. That game is Cool Spot. I do not like this game, but I am very nostalgic for it. A lot of times, you know, when we were kids, we only had so many games to play. That was the circumstance with Cool Spot. A lot of people like this game. I hate this game. I have it, like I said, for nostalgic reasons. You know, I wanted to go back to it. I wanted to see if maybe I could play this game again, but I have tried multiple times. I still suck at this. The hit detection is garbage. The controls, sometimes, like, you'll feel like you're floating. Sometimes jumps can be shortened or long, or, you know, it's the game that really decides that, though. It feels like sometimes I'll be like trying to press a button as hard as I can, and he just does not do what I want him to do.
One eternity later.
And like I said, I tried so hard to love this game, even as a kid. Like, this thing gave me PTSD. Like, I thought for a while that I was just bad at games because I could not play this. But no, it was the game, I assure you. Don't like the game. But a really good one, of course, is Shadow Dancer. I believe this was it Shinobi 1 or Shinobi 2? Or, no, we're not Shinobi 1, sorry. Shinobi 2 or Shinobi 3. I'm not sure where it falls into the series, but this was really fun. I've not yet gotten to beat this game, but, you know, I've gotten to maybe level 2 or 3 before getting my butt handed to me. But this game, also, really cool. I don't think you'll find this in any of the Genesis compilations, but if you're familiar with the Shinobi games, do give this a shot. This one is definitely worth your time. Next, I have Super Street Fighter 2. Not much to really say about this. I love Street Fighter games, and this is no exception. Do get yourself a 6-button though, Ms. Croft. Before playing this though, because if you don't, obviously, most of us know, the 3-button, you have to hit the start button in order to swap between punches and kicks. So, yeah. This is still a great game though. Next I have Sonic Spinball. Now, I personally cannot get very far in this game. Like, I can get to level 2, and then I just lose all focus. Like, I just die right away. I just don't know what it is. I just cannot play Sonic Spinball. I like this game. It's brutal. It is very brutal. Here we have the Sonic game that started it all, Sonic the Hedgehog. I did not have this game growing up, which I wish I did. I played a little bit of it, but this game was pretty awesome. It's a good start for this game, definitely. It's definitely the Super Mario Brothers of the Sega Genesis. Really enjoy it. Really bright, you know, colorful graphics, tight gameplay, all around. This is a perfect game. This is definitely a system seller, and Sega was smart to include this with the Model 1. Now we're on to the last game, and like I said before, this is my favorite Genesis game of all time. And that game is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Like, this was the game that came with our Sega Genesis, and this is the game I dumped hundreds of hours into. Like, I think the most challenging part of this was beating Robotnik for the last time, like in that giant robot. Like, it was really tough trying to figure out, like, you know, how to hit him. Like, it was really hard. Like, we didn't have any FAQs, and unfortunately, we didn't subscribe to Sega Visions. We had Nintendo Power, so it was really hard for us to figure out how to get through that. But we persevered, and we did it. And my God, do I love this game. Like, this game holds a special place in my heart. So that, guys, is my Sega Genesis collection. Thank you for staying till the end. Again, if you guys haven't yet, please do consider subscribing, and do check out that Nintendo Switch Lite Animal Crossing giveaway. Like I said before, it'll be in the description down below. So thank you guys for watching my video, and just staying till the end. And until next time, guys, thank you for watching.